Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf, and I just read the synopsis for the upcoming Season 9 premiere of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And yeah, there are more than a few things that I'd love to discuss. Just please be aware, there are some pretty significant spoilers that I'm going to be touching on here, so for anyone who wants to avoid them, this is your only warning. First up, let's get through the synopsis itself. The Beginning of the End, Part 1. When Celestia and Luna decide to retire and hand off the ruling of Equestria to Twilight and her friends, it sends Twilight into a tailspin of self-doubt. The ancient villain Grogar plots to conquer all of Equestria, but King Sombra has ideas of his own. The Beginning of the End, Part 2. As Twilight and the rest of the main six struggle to come to terms with the destruction of the tree and the elements of harmony, King Sombra sets his sights on conquering all of Equestria. Now, I think that it's a great title to have The Beginning of the End, because, yeah, this is the final season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and it's basically telling us things are about to get very real. And I welcome that kind of change, I really do. Now, I did discuss in a previous video about Celestia and Luna retiring and Twilight needing to fill their shoes and how all that is going to build upon her self-doubt. And yes, that is interesting, but what I haven't touched on yet is the fact that Grogar is going to be behind a lot of things this season, apparently. He's going to be the big bad. Now, I don't know that much about Grogar myself. I never watched Gen 1, but apparently he was a pretty big deal back then. I don't know if they intend to use any of his design or the fact that his bell is the source of his power. I mean, they changed a lot about T-Rex, so why can't they change a lot about Grogar too? I do find it particularly interesting that Grogar is seeking to take over Equestria, and I'd be willing to bet that he is recruiting other villains to make this happen. It is stated in the synopsis that Sombra has ideas of his own, so I have to wonder, is Grogar the one directly responsible for bringing Sombra back? Or did Grogar happen to come across a severely weakened Sombra who is already in the process of making his own plans? I don't know. The idea that maybe, just maybe, Grogar has the ability to use necromancy, raising the dead kind of black magic, that would certainly raise the stakes in a number of ways. Holy cow. Make for a fair bit darker Season 9, in my opinion. But we don't know that for sure yet. We're going to have to wait and see. In the Part 2 synopsis, when it says that Twilight is trying to take in the fact that the Tree of Harmony has been destroyed, that's also pretty big. I remember discussing in a previous video, we weren't sure if this was going to be for real or one of Sombra's fear spells that are causing ponies to see what they fear most, but no, this is actually happening. The tree is getting destroyed, the elements are getting shattered. So what does that mean for all of Equestria when their greatest weapon is no longer available? It's not the first time that the main six have had to deal with that problem. But if they're going up against a big bad like Grogar, who is also recruiting other villains towards his cause, at least that's my suspicion anyway, what do? I am also curious about why Sombra would seek to go out on his own. Why not work with Grogar when it's been made pretty clear that, yeah, he lost the first time trying to do it all on his own. This either means that he does not like sharing power, understandable motivation for a villain, or what Grogar intends is simply not something Sombra could ever work with. I mean, what would Grogar intend once he takes over all of Equestria. We all saw what Tyrek intended to do, destroy everything. If Grogar had a similar idea for the end game, would that mean the destruction of the Crystal City? Would that mean the destruction of the Crystal Heart? It's possible that Sombra just couldn't accept something like that. Or maybe the fact that, being a villain, he just wants all the power to himself. Either way, I could see that working. Although the former seems a little more interesting in my opinion, that there are some things that Sombra isn't willing to sacrifice. But that might be pushing it. I do know that the season premiere is going to be on April 6th, so we only have a few weeks remaining at this point. I am also curious as to whether the main six will be made aware of Grogar in this season 9 premiere. It's obvious that they're going to have to battle against Sombra, and it's obvious that they're going to question, well, how did he suddenly come back? Why here? Why now? But will they ever actually see or even hear about Grogar? Or will Grogar simply stay in the background doing his thing? Can't say for sure. But it does bring up a lot of interesting questions. Luna and Celestia retiring, Twilight is now being made to fill their place, and now everything is going to start falling apart at once. I mean, yeah, that seems like a pretty compelling setup. And I know I'm certainly interested in Season 9 more than premieres of Season 8 or Season 7 when I was first reading those synopses. So, I have to hand it to the MLP staff thus far, but where will it all lead to? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below, particularly about what you believe Grogar's eventual plan is, why Sombra would choose to strike out on his own, and exactly what the main six would have in store if the tree and the elements are no longer part of the picture. And until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.